Welcome to the podcast of School Beyond Limitations. In this podcast, you will learn how to guide your child through their school life with the intention to help them find their unique essence that will allow your daughter, your son to live a fulfilled and meaningful life. As mentioned last time, School Beyond Limitations is not just a school. School Beyond Limitations is more. And that's why we have an SBL School Beyond Limitations Manifesto. Let me share it with you. We believe the future of humanity begins in the hearts and the minds of our children, and that education must honor the full expression of every individual. We believe no child is broken, no soul is average, and no human being was ever born to fit into a box. The systems of the past, built for an industrial world, don't meet today's challenges. They measure numbers, not dreams. They reward conformity, not creativity. They prepare children for a world that no longer exists. We stand for something greater, a world where learning is no longer confined by walls, borders, or outdated standards, where education awakens what already exists inside each learner, their unique gifts, their boundless potential, their power to shape their own lives and the world around them. We are not just a school, we are a movement, a shift, a conscious movement against fear and the myth that success belongs to only a few. At School Beyond Limitations, we envision a future where every learner learns beyond borders, lives beyond fear, thinks and acts beyond limitations. We are here to co-create a new paradigm of education, one that is holistic, personalized, entrepreneurial, and deeply human. And we will not stop until this vision becomes reality. Because when children rise in confidence, clarity, and purpose, the world transforms. We are School Beyond Limitations, and we invite you to walk this path with us, to reimagine what education can be, to believe in a future far greater than the past. Together, let's raise a generation who dares to live fully. That's the School Beyond Limitations Manifesto.
Well, thank you, Martina, for sharing that. And education is not something to be followed, but something to be created, both by the students and the people who works behind those creators of education are the facilitators. So as Martina was talking about the manifesto, and this pretty much summarizes everything about SBL, how we vision things, how we work with our students, how the system works, and how we want the education to be a part of everybody's life to excel in whatever the fields they go to fit into today's society and make it better than we have found it. Thank you very much, and welcome to our today's podcast. In our previous podcast, we talked about SBL and how it is unique to traditional schools. And today we will be talking about how we offer the education and the people who works very hard to make it happen, to make it true. Martina, would you like to start talking about how our teachers are unique? I love this word, to other teachers traditionally.
Yeah, I think our teachers, whom we don't call teachers, actually, we call them facilitators for a specific reason, because they are more than just teaching and transferring, knowledge. They are there to guide the students through a process of self-discovery. And our facilitators are actually bringing into the world what the SBL Manifesto is saying, because they see that they themselves are unique and that each person is unique. And that's why they want to nurture the uniqueness by not, leaving out the importance of working towards a common goal, because a common goal is very, is that what drives us also. But we can't, fit everyone into a category, into labels, as we said already the other day. So I think our facilitators are very special because they take this on board, the fact that we don't have a quick fix answer to everything, but that they see a student always for who they are. And the student is never the problem. As we say in the manifesto, no child is broken, no soul, no person is average. There is this kind of understanding out there. There are geniuses and there are not geniuses. And we believe, and I personally believe, that each person has a genius within themselves. They are geniuses as they are because they are creatures of, very unique creatures who are here for a specific reason, to bring something to the world. And if they then connect with this inner self, with this source that is already there within themselves, then we can co-create together. Our facilitators do not measure our students against certain standards. They look at them, they observe them, they co-create with them, and they try, not only try, they do actually inspire them, motivate them, so that they reconnect with themselves, because basically it's already there. What we actually aim to do is that if the connection has been interrupted, and many times it has been interrupted through lots of outside noise and conditioning, and that's why our facilitators are very special, because they go the extra mile. They are not just ticking off boxes, because boxes are not representing the uniqueness of each person. It's about, I want to find out. I want to listen to you. I want to see you. And please communicate with me. They build relationship first. I always say, first you need to build relationship with a person before you can go into any kind of learning. If there's a relationship and if people then trust you, if students trust the facilitator, if they feel seen, if they know that the facilitator is not just ticking off hours. I've done now my contact hour, as they call it, and as we call it in the traditional system, but I need my facilitator outside of those hours. Then this is very special about SPL, because our facilitators make themselves available. They are at the side, on the side of their students, and they treasure the students, they nurture the students, they celebrate with the students. If students suffer for whatever reason, maybe because an exam didn't go well, then they will build them up and they will find out together with the student and the family the reason why it didn't work. Maybe it was just the wrong direction, maybe it wasn't enough effort whatsoever, but it's never blaming a student. It's always, caring about the student. And sometimes, of course, it may also say you need to do a little bit more, but out of an energy of respect and care. So I think that's very special about facilitators. And what we also can say is that facilitators who join SPL, they really love being here. We have just started our induction week for the new school year now. When facilitators say, to new joining staff, and they say, this is so different from what you have ever experienced, please just be aware that you will just be speechless. Because everyone is here to support, everyone is here to co-create. There's no hierarchy. There is the understanding and the respect that each person is valued and each person brings their gifts. And where there are maybe areas where we are not as strong, we build up on the team. Yeah, and this is what we pass on to also our students. What is perfection? I'm always asking, what is perfection? We are already perfect as we are, basically, because we are unique beings. But the outside world expects us to do certain things, and sometimes we disconnect then. So that's also a job of our facilitators as well, to show our students, listen, you have it already within yourself, and that builds self-confidence, and that helps then really transform the world. Because if I'm confident within myself, then I can show myself, and I want to show myself, not in a way, as we said last time, in a selfish way, but in a way of gratitude and appreciation for what I bring, but also for what you bring. So
Absolutely. And to be very honest, indifferences or uniqueness should never make you feel like you're an alien to this world. We are all still one. We all have, of course, our own purposes, but it's all about working towards the same goal, as you mentioned. And honestly, without this uniqueness, the whole world would be meaningless. It's like a game in cricket or soccer. You have all these players, they're all players, but they all have different roles. Someone is striking, someone is defending, someone is, the goal key. So this is what makes a game, meaningful and exciting. This is what gives it a meaning, and people get excited to watch. So of course, this world is not a solo game. This world is a team game. So if one decides to run solo, they might be experts, but eventually it's going to be hard for them to fit in and use their expertise if they choose to really go solo, because that's not how we're designed. I believe this whole world is meant to connect with one another. It's meant to work towards common goal using our unique potentials and skill sets and everything that we bring. And this unique potential or skills or understanding comes from the way we perceive things, comes from different perspectives, and that can only be much broader and much rich once we choose to open ourselves and connect with more and more people. And then there's always a referee who helps develop these great players to play all along. And this is what we call facilitators and mentors. They, as you said, walk with us the miles. It's not like they're dictating the class, they're telling all the students to follow a certain thing. It's rather they're co-creating the classroom lessons together so that everybody's benefited from everyone. If I have a certain interest, that the facilitator makes sure that that interest gets shared with the rest of the class. And if there's someone else who is kind of similar or willing to do or having the same interest, then we bond and we connect and we work together on that thing. So this is what's healthy about SBL classrooms. I'm just gonna give a personal example. So I like writing poetries, and in my class, pretty much some people, sometimes maybe like to hear it or not. But then this opportunity of teach back really help people or understand poetries a lot, and then they opened up, and now I have a peer in my class constantly sending me poetries. Someone who was never interested, now he's writing me every once a week. So that just shows how much a healthy classroom can inspire people to explore new things. And I thank all the facilitators that I've worked with throughout the years for constantly trying to connect the whole class, engaging them into creative activities and learnings that will eventually last forever, in my belief, because we don't learn just because of learning or we're forced to. We learn because we're motivated, and motivation is of course something that you have to constantly give yourself. It's about giving yourself time and energy, but it's also about getting inspirations from others to motivate yourself a lot more. And that what honestly SBL creates in classroom culture. So
Nayeef, I think it would be great if you just described out of your experience what a facilitator, meant and still means to you as an alumni, but also while you were going through, the learning experience at SBL, because you just touched upon inspiration, co-creation, and so forth. But how would you define it? Because you're still in contact with your former facilitators, and what would you say about this uniqueness of facilitators that we have at SBL?
as you said, I think you mentioned it earlier, that in SBL, everybody is creating a bond for lifetime. And it is because, once again, I want to use the word force. We're not forced to connect with our teachers and learn. We go and learn because we want to learn. We want to connect with them and understand their depth And the facilitators, they're also, when a facilitator shows interest in you and wants to know you, you generally connect with people. That's how you connect. I see a huge gap between the relationship of teachers and students in traditional schools. I see a huge gap because they're not connected because they want to connect. They're connected through like a common learning thing, and just because they have to simply. So this willingness, this self-willingness is a great power and a great fuel to connecting with people. And that's what we have in SBL. I'm still very connected with some of my facilitators. It's vacation, so I'm not obviously reaching out to everyone, but I will eventually because I know that I have the connection that I can reach out to them at any time, you know. And this is really special. I haven't seen this culture um with all the years that I was in traditional schools at all. I'm just going to be very honest here. I don't know about the schooling cultures of different regions, but from the place I belong from, it wasn't there. Um, you also know that I'm constantly in connection with you, obviously, and then there's this very specific facilitator. Okay, I don't want to mention the name, but I'm so connected with him, and we always talk about things which we have common interests in, and we just open up, and that those learnings will stick to me more than it's just for me more than the learnings that I've gotten from the books
Yeah, I
because
think what you're referring to is this approach towards one another where each person is seen for the depth that they bring along, so for the person they are. It's not me here as a facilitator, I'm above you and you are below me. It's this kind of understanding that we may be different with regards to our age, we may be different with regards to our background and our experience and also our educational upbringing, but yet we want to connect and we want to learn from one another. And one aspect which is also in the manifesto, and which one of our facilitators actually pointed out after having read through the manifesto of SBL, is that we are all learners. We don't say you are the teacher and or facilitator and I'm the student. Yes, we are also that. But at the end of the day, we are learners and we come together. And this is what I'm hearing from you. You enjoy being and connecting with the facilitators, although they are older than you, or maybe, but because you enjoy being with them, you enjoy having conversations with them, and they enjoy having conversations with you because we also learn constantly and grow constantly through this kind of exchange.
you're very right. And I can use the example of parenting. It's kind of like, what parents do. They care about the, wellness of their children overall, from psychological aspect, from physical aspect, from the learning aspect. So they don't always make you feel like they're above you. They learn as the journey of life, continues. They walk along with you, and then they learn you step by step. They learn how you develop, they learn how you see things, how you think, how you develop, and then they put in their inputs, and then you also learn from them, because they have the experience of leading life much more than you. And this is honestly one of the qualities that I've seen in both the students and the facilitators, that everybody's aware of this notion that life's a journey. It's an entire journey. We're walking, and then we'll have people on our way. Some people we bond with for life, some people maybe not, but that little moment that is created, that is something that shapes you. Every little moments count, and that shapes people.
I just like what you said now, because every little moment really shapes the people and shapes their reality. And this is a present that I received from a parent forum of SBL. Life is a journey, and it is a journey, and we go along this path together. And I think you couldn't have expressed that better, I think, Nayeef. So as a final remark on the expression on the theme of the role of facilitators at SBL, what are the three words that come to your mind when you think of SBL facilitators out of the context of what we stand for through our manifesto and our blueprint?
I'm going to steal one of your words: true learners, true creators and co-creators, and genuine bond. This is what facilitators are to me. We're
Oh,
happy. So
Thank you so much, Nayeef. I think these three, sentences are so extremely powerful that we don't have to repeat that. We just need to listen to it, and they summarize what we are standing for. So thank you for this podcast this time round, and we will come back, right, Nayeef, next week.
Yes, keep an eye on our channel for next week. See you.
At School Beyond Limitations, we support our students find their unique essence. Feel free to share the content of this podcast with other parents. We are here to show that your children can, indeed, bring their unique essence into life. So, reach out to us if you think that this is what you'd like your daughter, your son to experience, or apply through our website. Also, leave your comments, your questions, or your review about the podcast. Share it with others. And as you know, sharing is caring.